Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey my friend, how are you today? It's been a little while, mainly because I've nearly got to the end of my quota of recording for the month. It's quite strange. I normally only ever use, half of what I'm allowed, what I pay for. But this month, because of doing so many podcasts, I'm nearly out of bandwidth. So I want to do a quick one, just to make sure that you know I'm still here. And I actually started doing something that hopefully is going to be meaningful to me. I know it's meaningful to me, but it's meaningful in a good way. I've started to narrate the book I wrote some years ago about, one of the blackest times in my life, but also how I got out of it. So I've now recorded the foreword. I've also recorded the first chapter. And I just wanted to share with you that foreword. So you've got an idea of what I'm doing and where I was maybe a little bit. I'll also give the first chapter another time and then see how we go with, it'll be going up on Amazon or something like that. But it's something I'm just pleased to be doing, other than painting walls and gardening and things like that. It's what we've all been doing, I guess. And I wanted you to think of maybe a question. What could I do that would get that light inside you start to shine even more brightly? Just give that warm feeling that you're doing something that makes a difference. Because it's so easy in this time of opportunity that we don't do things. We sit back. We get used to not having those set times in our days and our weeks. And now everything is blurred together, I guess. So it's now time, I think, and it's certainly been for me, to actually start to do something. Have a project. Do something that I believe will make a difference to people. I wonder what you could do. And the other one is how. How could I do this? How could I have fun doing this? What would be the first step? What would it feel like if I had got this project done already? What would that feel like? If I could see myself out there in the future, having already achieved the success of doing this project, what would that feel like? And if I took that feeling, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, how could I use that feeling? How could I use that feeling to start now? And I don't know if you could, if you have a thing in mind, maybe just for a moment, you could see yourself over there. That's right, just over there in the future, having achieved that goal. What would you look like? How would you be walking? How would you be moving? What is your physiology? What's that smile on your face? What's that glint in your eye? How would you be breathing? And what would happen if you just floated into that you over there, having achieved that wonderful result? Looking through your own eyes now of success, what would you see? What pictures in your mind? Where would they be? How big would they be? Would they be in colour? A movie maybe? What would you see? What would you do? What would your inner voice sound like through looking through the eyes of success, of achievement? Just feel it. Feel that feeling now. The feeling of the wish fulfilled. And if you could just hold on to that feeling now and have your unconscious mind remember this feeling of looking through the eyes of success, of achievement, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And if you brought that back into you now, so you're back in present time, just about to start asking those wonderful questions, but holding on to this feeling of the wish fulfilled, the feeling of looking through the eyes of achievement, of success. What would be your first step along the way? Hey, just go for it. Just think about it now. What could you do? What could you do? What could you do now? Anyway, that was it really. Just something to think about. I'm doing my bit for my project, but what would you do? Okay? Have a good think. Hope you like this recording. I'm going to give you the recording now So it'll just take a minute to come in, and you'll be off and running and listen to the forward of this narration. I'd love to hear what you think about it, and I'd love to think about what your project is. I'd love to get your feedback on it. What are you doing in this time of opportunity? And if there's something I can help you with, if it's to let go of any anxiety around there, or get that confidence and motivation, or just a plan, let me know. Email feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Comes to me personally, get a personal reply. That's what we'll do. And then we'll share it with others so they get the benefit too. So it's between you and me, and then we'll share the processes, the results. Anyway, have more fun than you can stand. Please enjoy the recording and let me know what you think. Okay, so it's Paul, Personal Development Unplugged. Bye now. So here's the recording of the forward of my book. It's called It Doesn't Have to Be That Way. Please enjoy. So why this book? I originally intended to narrate and write this from the perspective of working with a friend of mine. A friend of mine who was going through an awful period of his life. He'd lost somebody. In fact, he'd lost two people, both in a very short period of time. One through a breakup of a marriage, and the other, someone very close to his mother. I intended to describe how I worked with him to help change his life in a way that meant he could move on, and how he had asked me to share his story, his experience, in a way that might be useful to others. Then someone challenged me. You tell this story of a friend. It's your own story, isn't it? At least it seemed to me to be your own story. If so, I wonder if you'd consider to tell your story using I. Don't feel embarrassed, Paul, when you tell your own story. This is why books are read. Authors need to be shameless and find the words for what others can't say. So, here is my story, and no hiding behind the facade of a friend. I'll tell it like it was, how I felt, what I did to change, and how it feels to be free from all those horrible things. Really though, why am I doing this? Because I want you to know it is possible to get better. You can learn from my experiences and lead a wonderful life again. I want you to find what you need so you too can get the benefit of the things I've done, the things that made those dramatic changes, so that you can pass through this period of your life quickly and easily, knowing that there's something so much more special on the other side of this. You may have lost someone on the other side, whatever your belief is. Or you may have lost someone in your life. You may have lost a loving pet, someone who gives you totally unconditional love. You may have lost things like a job, finance. All these losses cause so many negative emotions. Emotions such as anger, grief, sadness. A whole heap of feelings that just, well, they just don't feel good, do they? Hey, there's always exercises in these types of books, aren't there? And there'll be some in this book as well. Just pick the ones that you want to do, that you're attracted to. You don't have to look at them in any particular order. Just pick the ones that are right for you at the time. If you do not do all, or even any of the exercises, but I really hope you do, as they really made a difference to me, there's an accompanying hypnosis program that you can use. It's divided in a number of tracks, and each of them will guide you in your mind to the things that can make the big changes through small differences, the difference that really makes a difference. Now, I do need to warn you. The first part of this, the first chapter, the first section is, well, to be honest, it's downright depressing, because I want to tell you about what happened to me, and my guess is you'll probably have an affinity with that, with the feelings that I felt. You may understand what I was going through, because you may be going through that too, right now. Or you might know somebody who is. Sometimes you have a best friend too. Yep, yourself. But let me tell you that when you go through that first part, you'll know where I was. You know exactly the starting point of how low can be, because it really can be very low. So low that sometimes even the bottom of the barrel is higher than I was, and I was scraping well below the bottom. But then we will go on to discover all the other things, the things that really it made the difference and make it so. So here's the contents. My Quiet Place, a poem. My qualities, do I have any? Responsibility, take it or? Questions, ask and you shall. Gratitude, for what? Remembering in a different way. Moving on, yes, it is possible. Then what? Finding passion again. Then letting go, the final chapter, well, for now. And My Quiet Place, a poem, but now...
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.